Welcome to the Wired for Success podcast, your show for ambitious, mission-driven entrepreneurs who understand that there's more to entrepreneurship than finding the latest flash in the pan strategies, who understand that in order to build your empire, you need a solid foundation. I wholeheartedly believe that entrepreneurship is the biggest self-development journey you can be on, and it's my mission to help you make that journey easier. In this show, I bring together the very best from science, self-development, and entrepreneurship to set you up for sustainable success. Hi, I'm Claudia Garbutt, the scientist and mindset coach behind this show, and you're listening to the Wired for Success podcast. Hey everyone! Today I want to focus on another topic that I see so many high achievers struggle with, and that is the way they think about productivity. So in general, I think it's fair to say that successful entrepreneurs are people who are driven and who are very good at motivating themselves to work. They want to get things done, right? So they don't like sitting around waiting for things to happen. They want to be in control and they want to direct the outcome of any situation. They prefer being active over being passive. And I think a big part of that has to do with the sense of agency and ownership that they derive from being active. So let's dig a little bit deeper into why that sense of agency and ownership is so important. As you might already know, your brain does not like uncertainty. It doesn't like uncertainty because uncertainty equals potential danger. And why is that? Because, put simply, your brain is an information processing machine that predicts the future based on your prior knowledge and experiences. Say, at some point in time, maybe as a young kid, you put your hand into a fire. Maybe because you were curious what would happen, or maybe because it was an accident. Anyhow, you undoubtedly learned that A, fire burns your skin if you touch it and it hurts a lot. And B, you should therefore avoid putting your hand into a fire again, okay? So your brain creates a rule or a blueprint, if you like, for how to act in the future to avoid harming yourself again. And next time you see a fire, you might immediately recall that experience of burning your hand, either consciously or subconsciously, and you will make sure not to touch the flames again. So that's just a very basic example for how your brain keeps you safe by predicting what's going to happen next based on your knowledge and your experiences. And then it will steer your behavior in a way that is designed to avoid any kind of future harm or further harm. And when you face uncertainty, your brain doesn't know what information or set of rules to apply. It can't predict the future because it doesn't have all the information to make an educated guess. So it doesn't know how to avoid harm, and that is stressful, and that can cause a lot of fear and anxiety. It has to be on high alert so that it doesn't miss any crucial bits of information. It has to work extra hard to scan your surroundings, make judgments, and go through likely and unlikely scenarios in your head just to prepare you for what might lie ahead. So if you've ever waited for someone important to call you back or text you back, and if it drove you nuts because your mind came up with all sorts of scenarios, why the heck you still haven't heard from that person? You have witnessed how your brain likes to eliminate uncertainty. Maybe that person doesn't text back because maybe he doesn't like you, but maybe he doesn't text back because he's busy. Maybe he doesn't text back because he forgot his phone at work. Maybe he doesn't text back because he was in an accident and is now in a coma. Who knows, right? And it's very stressful to mentally go through all those different scenarios without knowing which one is true. It's an emotional roller coaster because each scenario comes with a different emotional response and a different behavior that you would deem appropriate in that situation. So when you think he hasn't texted back because he doesn't like you, you might feel sad and lonely. But when you think he hasn't texted back because he has forgotten his phone at home, you might feel annoyed instead. And when you think he hasn't texted back because he has had an accident, you might feel worried and completely freaked out. So as Mark Twain said, I've had a lot of worries in my life, most of which never happened. You just want to know so that you can stop unnecessarily worrying about all those other scenarios that aren't true, because the uncertainty is driving you nuts, right? You want to know what's true so that you know how to feel and how to react. In fact, studies have shown that you are calmer anticipating pain than anticipating uncertainty, because at least the pain is certain. In one study, researchers found that participants who knew they would receive a painful electric shock felt calmer and less agitated than those who were told that they had a 50% chance of getting an electric shock. That's just how much your brain despises uncertainty, if you want. It prefers to know a bad consequence over an unknown or uncertain one. Now, this is where things can easily get out of control. If we don't know how to calm our brains down again, that well-intended high alert state can lead to a chronic hypervigilance state that ramps up your body's stress response and puts your body into constant fight or flight mode. Not all stress is bad. I want to make that very clear. You can't and you don't want to avoid all forms of stress. Our brains and bodies are designed for short bouts of acute stress followed by periods of relaxation. And those short bouts of acute stress, they will actually help you stay healthy and flexible. So I don't want to demonize stress in general, but chronic stress has severe negative consequences for your mental, emotional, and physical health. And you absolutely want to make sure that you know how to regulate your body's stress response in order to avoid that chronic stress. So let's go back to that ambitious, driven entrepreneur we talked about in the beginning, the one who prefers to be active because it gives him a sense of agency. As you know, entrepreneurship is hard in the sense that it forces you to face uncertainty on a daily basis. In fact, you could probably say that certainty is the only constant or certainty that you can count on as an entrepreneur. Will your launch go well, or will you launch to crickets? Will you be able to fill your program, or is it going to fall flat? Every day you have to make choices and you have to take action, even though you don't know what the outcome will be. And in general, there are two unproductive routes that you can go down. So procrastination is one of them. So you avoid doing anything. You do nothing because you're too overwhelmed to decide. Or the second route is you become super busy and you try to do all the things just for the sake of doing things. And it's the latter that I probably see more often in successful entrepreneurs who want to grow and scale their business to the next level. And if that's you, you now understand why you might feel this urge to be active and control your environment and your situation. Taking action reduces the uncertainty you're facing. It's kind of like it collapses all the possibilities into one scenario. In behavioral economics, this tendency to choose action over doing nothing is called activity bias or action bias. And while this can be beneficial in some situations, it can also lead to poor decision making about how you manage your time and energy. So, how so? Because this tendency often creates a very fine line between having a great work ethic that helps you get things done and becoming a busy, burnt out workaholic. Of course, you need to take action in order to accomplish your goals. There's no doubt about it. But if you're constantly hustling just to feel more in control and to feel more productive, you have a problem. If action becomes your default mode and your automatic response, it's based on impulse rather than on logic. And you might do a lot of things that are less effective just for the sake of doing something, which is often bad for the outcome of the project that you work on. So keep in mind that busyness does not equal productivity. You can be productive without hustling 24/7, and you can be busy without being productive. Productivity is about doing the right things that will get you closer to your goals and doing them efficiently. Busyness, on the other hand, might just be your coping mechanism for dealing with the ever-present uncertainty. So the next time you find yourself restless and putting more and more things on your to-do list, just take a step back and ask yourself, do I really need to do all those things to achieve my goals, or do I do them because I feel anxious and I'm trying to control my situation? So if you find that you're keeping busy to manage your anxiety rather than to reach your goals, and this is steering you toward a severe burnout, feel free to reach out and talk about other strategies that you could use that can then help you manage your anxiety while working less and becoming more productive at the same time. And if you give me 5 days, I show you how to get your life back and be more productive in my 5 days to getting your life back productivity course for entrepreneurs that teaches you how to win back 1 to 2 hours of precious time each day so that you can do less and be more and enjoy all the things that you love without losing your competitive edge. And I'll put a link to the course in the show notes. So if you're interested, make sure to check it out. And you can use the discount code podcast to get 10% off when you decide to invest in the course. That's it for today. Take care and talk soon. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to the Wired for Success podcast. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you did, please take a sec to rate and review my show. It would mean the world to me because you'd help me reach more entrepreneurs like yourself who would love this show. If you'd like to learn more about creating a widely successful business without sacrificing your health, relationships, or sanity, make sure to stick around and subscribe so you don't miss out on any future episodes. And why don't you help me spread the word and share this show with your friends? I'd really appreciate it, and I'm sure your friends will too. Want to continue this conversation, build real relationships, and join a community of like-minded entrepreneurs? Come join my free Facebook community for visionary entrepreneurs. I would love to see you there. In the meantime, if you haven't done so already, grab my free brain priming audio file for entrepreneurs and start priming your brain for success in less than 5 minutes each morning. Curious? You can learn more about how this works and download the audio file at www.wiredforsuccess.solutions. Until next time, bye!